Are you tired of putting yourself last? Of taking care of everybody else's needs and powering through to meet the next set of impossible standards? In our fast-paced society, we lose touch with our intrinsic worth, with the ability to value ourselves for who we are right now. Instead of living life exhausted, frustrated, and disconnected from your authentic self, maybe it's time to put yourself back in the life you've worked so hard to create. Join radio host and life choreographer Laura Cheadle and learn how to build your dreams and live your sparkle using the 5 steps of flaunt. Find your fetish, laugh out loud, accept unconditionally, navigate the negative, and trust in your truth.
Welcome to Flaunt, Build Your Dreams and Live Your Sparkle. I'm Laura Cheadle, and today we're going to talk about an app that will actually help you live your sparkle. An app that's going to help you become more clear. An app that is going to make you be mindful and calm and happy and feel like how you have always wanted to feel, or feel like how you used to feel, but suddenly you don't feel that way anymore and you can't really figure out why. So the app that I'm talking about is the Clarity app, and it was developed by a fantastic woman named Becks Armstrong, who is my guest today. And I'm going to bring her on in about 2 seconds here, and she's going to tell you all about her and her app and why she developed it and where you can find this app too. So welcome to the show, Becks. How are you?
I'm really, really good, Laura. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, I am so excited to have you. Okay, before the listeners, before we go into who you are and what you do, tell the listeners a little bit about your app, because I know they're all driving along or sitting there going, an app that's going to help me. I want that now.
All right. Okay. So I created a mindfulness, relaxation, and sleep app for women that are perimenopausal or menopausal. Any other time really, but specifically for them. So we have created content that is for a time where your life might be turning upside down a little bit with your hormones. You might not be sleeping very well. Your libido might drop. So we've created a whole bunch of content that can really help you with where you're at right now.
Oh, and it can too. I just actually happened upon this app not too long ago, and I thought, oh, yeah, another mindfulness app, whatever, I'll check it out, whatever. And I thought, this is fantastic content. And you're right, it's focused on, perimenopausal, menopausal women, but I shared it with my college-age kids, and it helps them too. So if you are not sitting right smack dab in the middle of perimenopause or menopause, don't tune out. Because there's way more here, because mindfulness helps any of us of any age, of any gender, all the time.
Yes, that's absolutely right. And the content that we created, when I've created all of the content myself, and I've had other people record it, but I also record it myself. But what I was thinking is even in pregnancy, even postnatal, even when you're coming into your period, if you get PMS, or just as you live your daily life, there's something in there. It's not overwhelming. It's not got 10,000 sessions on it, and it will never have that amount. It's really to help you just stay in the moment, easily and clearly find what you need and just get into it. So that's why I created it.
Yeah, and I love that you said that it's easily accessible, because I too, because of doing hypnosis and meditation, I have created these gorgeous, wonderful hypnosis meditation files, but they're like an hour. And are you kidding?
Yeah.
Most people can't sit down for an hour. And I love that yours are way more accessible and way more doable.
Yeah, I've got 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute sessions, because from research, 2 minutes a day, just 2 minutes of purposeful breathing every day will help you. It's just, trying to make sure that you remember to do it, to listen to something to take your mind away, or you can do it quietly. But a lot of women are busy looking after kids, trying to get to work, looking after parents, and they don't look after themselves. So I really want to help them to help themselves.
Absolutely. And you do. I mean, like I said, I've seen a lot of apps and I was just so impressed with you and your work and all of
Oh,
that.
I'm delighted to hear that. Thank you very much. I've put a lot of work into it. I've got people that have helped me, and honestly, it is very much a labor of love and a real desire to help women to help themselves, because we are the worst at looking after ourselves. So I wanted to give a little bit of love.
Yes. Oh, isn't that the truth? I mean, that's the whole focus of, like my book and my passion as well. So we're so right in alignment on that. Women save the world, we rescue the world, we love the world, and then we have adrenal fatigue, and then we hate our bodies, and then we beat ourselves up at the gym, and then we fall apart.
Yep. And unfortunately, that is actually, for a lot of women, I think that's actually the case. And also, particularly for perimenopause, menopause, and also pregnancy and postnatal, your body's doing things that you don't understand, and it's doing it in rapid succession, and you might be putting on weight, and you have to deal with the changes of your body. You might need to eat certain things, or you might not be able to eat certain things. So I think that sometimes giving yourself a break to be able to just recenter yourself is a really important thing to do, to kind of make sure that you don't get too busy with the outside world, and you connect with yourself and make sure that you're okay with some of the changes. And if you're not okay with them, see if you can make some changes in your lifestyle and your behavior.
I love that you said that, because menopause, perimenopause, having a baby, a lot of those things are kind of invisible to the naked eye. I mean, obviously, if you're pregnant at the end, you can see it, but nobody knows and understands what your body is going through in any of those transitions in life. And you're absolutely right. If we're exhausted, and there's, like, I hate to even say hormonal, because if you're hormonal has such a negative connotation. But it's not your fault if your hormones are changing and you are having a different experience. And being kind to yourself is going to help.
It is absolutely going to help. And it really, really does. And you might not think you have time for it, but you almost need to just 2 minutes. Everybody's got 2 minutes. It's just making a choice to choose you, Yeah. So I think that it's, we are hormonal beings, but so are men.
Yes.
We are just the canary in the coal mine that is a little bit more perceptive and receptive to the changes of hormones, but they still get affected. They still get adrenal fatigue, and they still get, chronic stress. It's just that I guess they're taught to bottle it up in a different way that we're taught to express ourselves, but also ours is just on another level. We have more hormones, they do more things, and they can move very fast. So we just have to be okay with those changes and stop every once in a while to let the dust settle and then start off again.
Yeah, I like that. And you're right. We do have more and we are affected. I would love to see a societal shift that we're proud of that, hey, we create life and we sustain life, and we're amazing. Let's honor that instead of be like, oh, you're hormonal. Sure am.
I think if you look at the world, we need to have more love. And I think that women have that capacity to be able to bring that to the world. I think we're just such amazing beings that it's hard, though, to keep going if you're not feeling well yourself. To be able to give to others, you need to give to yourself first.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think every listener is completely on board with us right now, going, woohoo, slapping their steering wheel or whatever, because amen. Yes. So I want to take a step back and find out a little bit about you and your passions in your life, and what led you to the desire to create this app in the first place.
So I am Australian. You might be able to hear that from my accent. But so I grew up in Australia and went to university in Australia and became an acupuncturist and spent years as a women's health specialist. I'm also a doula. So I go and help women have babies. And when I moved from Australia and my full-time clinic, I moved to the UK and moved around a lot. So I couldn't have a clinic anymore because you need to stay still. So I got into tech. And I started working in fast growth tech startups and learned a whole bunch of new skills. And after a while, I just missed where I was at. So I missed helping women. I missed that connection. And I also knew I couldn't go back into the clinical practice in the same way, but I understood tech and the benefit of being able to access many more women than just one-to-one. And so that's where the sort of baby of clarity came from, the sort of idea came from. Because as an acupuncturist in clinical practice, I used to do mindfulness one-on-one. So I'm not a traditional coach that has a room full of 30 people that take you through a session. And that's also part of the reason why the sessions are shorter, because I would do the mindfulness while the people had their needles in, and you would do breathing exercises, and it's a really nice thing to do while you've got your needles in. So that's how I learned to create the scripts, and I learned about pacing, and I watched women and what worked well for women. And so I just brought that into my the sort of creation of the app.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I appreciate, just because of my background with one-on-one work with people too, your ability to translate that one-on-one special connected time into this app to make it more accessible and more reachable for women. Because I don't know if you found this, but sometimes I would have clients that were amazing and they were wonderful and they were making so much progress, but just to get in the car and drive to see me and then have a session and then get in the car and then drive back home ate up such a large chunk of time that even if we had a 20-minute session, they were still out of the house for an hour.
Yeah, no, I exactly found that. I also really appreciated the women that came to see me to just have that session with me. I had a lady once that was so relaxed after her session, she actually walked into a pole afterwards. So, I really enjoyed being with women and having that connection. And it's one of the hardest things with the app is that you can't get that feedback. Like you've told me about how you feel about the app, and I don't get that unless you actively go and tell me, whereas I would have seen that on a rolling basis when you came back to the clinic. So that's something that's really, that's been very different for me, because I'm used to having feedback and improving on the feedback that I have. And so I still have a clinical practice. I just don't treat as much as what I used to. It's not a full-time clinic anymore, to keep my hand in, because actually I like women. I like helping women. I like finding out how they are. So that's a way for me to be able to access that side of me, that caring side, while also creating the app so that more women can enjoy. So if you do listen to the app and you like the app, or you don't like the app, or you have a suggestion and you want to see something created, let me know. I really like that feedback. So yeah, I've created one of the garden session, one of the sleep sessions I actually created for somebody that texted me to say, the sleep stuff I had done to date was around your body and trying to relax your body. And she was saying, I'm having such a hard time with my body. I need something that has nothing to do with my body to help me go to sleep, because she was achy. So I created the garden, and then I created the pass off the back of some people don't want, are struggling with their weight or how they feel or their body confidence, or just aches or pains, even as young people, old people, we all at times have aches and pains. So actually that was a bit of feedback that is in there. And I love the lady that sent it to me, and I sent it to her to test it. And she was delighted. She got first access to it. And so I love that feedback. I love hearing what people like and what they'd like to see what's going on for them, because I have a very strange ability to be able to create these sessions, and I love doing it. I love making sure that it works as well.
Yeah. Thank you for expressing that, because I want to reach that out right here, right now to some of the listeners. If you're listening to a meditation or something and you're thinking, I just don't get